welcome back to Beacon English Podcast.
It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So today, our mission, it's pretty direct, and honestly, it's vital for your fluency.
We want to help train your brain to, well, stop using your first language as that sort of middle step.
Exactly. We're aiming for you to think directly in English, just like a native speaker does.
And this really is, I think, the essential secret, the one that's often overlooked to getting that real speed and fluency.
Right. So if you feel like, okay, I can write English pretty well, I can read it fine, but when I need to speak quickly, that's where I struggle. Then this is definitely for you.
We're going to try and dismantle that really frustrating process of translating every single thought before you speak.
That internal translation step, that lag.
Yeah.
It's probably the single biggest thing blocking fluency for, millions of learners all over the world.
It really is. And today we're going to dig into, the sort of cognitive science behind why that happens.
And crucially, give you some actual drills, things you can do to start rewiring your brain.
So yeah, get ready to listen really carefully.
When we ask you to, please repeat the phrases out loud. This isn't passive listening.
Nope. Think of it like active brain training. We're aiming to actually change those neural pathways.
Okay, so let's start by really defining the core problem. We call it the translation trap.
Right. What's the #1 complaint we hear from language learners? Doesn't matter how good their grammar is on paper.
It's always the same feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
I understand everything in my head. I know the grammar rules, but I just can't speak fast enough.
Exactly that. And that hesitation, that lag you feel in a real conversation, it's incredibly demoralizing.
It really is. And it happens because your brain is running this highly inefficient sort of two-step process.
Instead of that instant one-step thing that native speakers use.
Right. So you think of the whole idea, maybe a complex thought, in your native language first, using all of the structure and syntax you're used to.
And only then does your brain kind of switch gears. It tries to translate that whole sentence, searching for the English words, adjusting the grammar.
To fit English rules, and then finally, it sort of gives the okay to speak.
And that mental translation, plus the grammatical juggling act, it takes up a huge amount of your working memory.
Your brain's doing some heavy lifting there. And those few extra seconds, they can feel like an eternity in a fast conversation.
Totally fatal, conversationally speaking. This cognitive overload, it's why sentences might come out slowly, maybe a bit broken.
Or why sometimes you just freeze up, right? You lose your chance to speak because the moment passed while you're busy translating.
But native speakers, they just don't have that middle step.
Nope. The thought comes in or the situation happens, and bam, the English phrase is just retrieved and used automatically.
It's seamless, a direct connection. And that's what we need to consciously build for you today.
And we're not just talking about knowing words, are we? It's about building language memory.
Exactly. That procedural memory, the part that handles automatic stuff, like riding a bike or speaking fluently.
Okay, so let's dive into section 1. Building that language memory through repetition. How does this actually work in the brain?
Well, let's get into the mechanics a bit, how your brain learns and automates these language patterns. And this goes beyond just, memorizing lists. It's more like neuroscience, really.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Because getting fluent, it isn't really about memorizing every single complex word or mastering every tiny grammar rule, is it?
Not primarily, no. It's much more about building these physical automatic pathways, these neural circuits in your brain.
Precisely. And we have to understand language memory kind of lives in two main forms. There's declarative memory, that's the knowing what, the grammar rules, the vocab lists you study.
Right. And then there's procedural memory. That's the knowing how, the skill, the ability to speak quickly without thinking too hard about it.
In fluency, that's really driven by the procedural memory, right, which gets built
through repetition. Lots and lots of repetition.
Okay, so explain that. How does repeating help?
Think of it like this. Your brain learns patterns by hearing and saying specific phrases or, chunks of language over and over again. And every single time you repeat a phrase, you're basically strengthening the brain circuit linked to that phrase.
I like the analogy of walking a path in a forest.
Yeah, that's a great one. The first time you walk it, it's slow, it's hard work. You have to consciously think about every step.
Yeah.
That's like declarative memory.
But the 100th time,
the path is clear, it's worn down, you can practically run down it without even thinking. That's procedural memory.
and there's actually a physical process happening in the brain to speed that up, isn't there?
Absolutely. When you repeat something, could be playing piano scales, could be saying, how's it going? Your brain adds something called myelin to those connections.
Myelin. like insulation on a wire.
Exactly like insulation. It dramatically speeds up how fast the signal travels along that nerve pathway.
So when we repeat these small, useful phrases, these chunks or collocations, as linguists call them, often enough,
The myelin builds up. The brain starts connecting the thought, or maybe the social situation, directly to the English phrase. It completely bypasses that slow translation process because the signal just travels faster than your conscious thought can keep up.
wow. So the result is less thinking.
A huge reduction in cognitive load, yeah. You don't need to consciously use up brain power figuring out the verb ending or the right preposition.
Your mouth just sort of knows what to say.
Pretty much, because the whole phrase is stored as one single unit, not, say, 5 separate words you have to piece together every time.
Okay, this makes so much sense. So let's start training that automatic connection right now. Let's kick off that procedural memory development with a warm-up drill.
All right. We want you to repeat these common conversational phrases out loud. Focus completely on the rhythm, the natural flow. Don't worry about analyzing the grammar right now.
Okay, first 4 simple high-frequency phrases. Say them right after us. Copy the sound. Ready?
How's it going? Pause twos.
Good. Again, listen to how it flows together. I'm not sure. Pause twos.
Nice. Keep that emphasis, the stress pattern. Take your time. Pause twos.
And this really useful, quick response. That's okay. Pause twos.
So when you practice these short functional sentences, you're actually doing micro-training on your brain circuits.
You're making that link stronger, right, between the situation, like needing to reassure someone, and the actual English phrase.
Exactly. And pretty soon, these phrases just become one single thing your brain grabs. Not 4 words to assemble, just one package.
That instant retrieval, that's what fluency feels like in the real world.
Okay, let's try a few more really fundamental ones. Keep building that pattern recognition. Focus on speed, automatic response, repeat right after us.
I don't know. Pause twos.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Pause twos.
See you soon.
Pause twos. Excellent. See how effortless those start to feel when you practice them as a complete unit?
Yeah, they just bypass that whole need for word-by-word translation. Connects the thought straight to the action.
So the core lesson here, and it's really about making things easier for your brain, is this. If you consistently repeat small, common, real-life sentences,
Your fluency and your reaction time will improve automatically.
even if you never sit down and consciously study the grammar rules behind those specific phrases, it just happens.
Okay, that makes sense. Now that we get the idea of procedural memory and repetition, let's talk about section 2. 3 simple habits to keep your brain in English mode.
Right? These are things you can start doing right away, daily habits, to really maintain that English thinking mindset. They're designed to minimize the effort, but maximize the exposure.
Good. We want to move English out of just the study time box and weave it into your normal day.
Yeah.
Right? Make it feel less like homework and more like just how your brain works.
Exactly. So, habit number 1, daily thinking. This just means actively having thoughts, like your inner monologue in English every day, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Okay, that sounds simple, but I can see how that might be challenging. People might feel pressured to think in perfect, complex sentences.
That's the common trap, yes. Feeling that internal judgment. But this is internal. You're the only one listening.
Right, so the goal isn't perfection.
Not at all. It's frictionlessness. Just make it easy. Do it while you're waiting in line, walking down the street, making breakfast. Just describe what you see or what you feel or what you're planning to do next.
Just keep those language pathways active and ready.
And why is this internal thinking so important? It directly fights that inner critic.
Ah, okay.
When you force yourself to have that internal dialogue, you practice turning your experiences directly into English without worrying about mistakes or being corrected. It's super low stakes practice, and it speeds up how quickly you can form the thought in English.
Got it. Okay, habit number 2.
Simple sentences. Just focus relentlessly on short, simple sentences. We really advise you not to try translating huge, complicated sentences from your native language.
Why the focus on keeping it simple?
Because think about it. When you try to translate some massive sentence, maybe with lots of clauses and fancy vocabulary, from your first language.
You immediately overload that mental translation engine we talked about.
Exactly. And that overload leads straight to frustration, hesitation, and often your brain just kind of gives up.
But if you stick to basic structures, like subject, verb, object,
Keep the cognitive load really low. Simple present, simple past. When those simple sentences become totally automatic, building more complex ideas later becomes much, much easier. The foundation is solid.
Okay, makes sense. Build from the basics. Habit number 3.
Copy the sound. So when you repeat things you hear, focus on copying the sound and the rhythm, the intonation, the music of the language, not just the individual words you might see written down.
Ah, this is a big one. The difference between just reading words aloud and actually speaking.
Huge difference. English is what we call a stress-timed language. We punch certain words harder, the pitch goes up and down, the speed changes.
And if you only copy the words without the music,
Your English can sound a bit flat, maybe robotic, and native speakers might actually struggle to understand your meaning or your emotion.
but if you consciously try to copy the intonation, the ups and downs,
You sound much more natural, your meaning is clearer, and crucially, you're locking that entire sound and meaning pattern into your procedural memory, which helps you retrieve it faster later.
Okay, let's put these into action right now. Some simple examples for that internal dialogue practice. These are thoughts that should ideally become automatic. Repeat them right after us.
I'm hungry. Pause twos.
Let's go.
Pause twos.
That's nice.
Pause twos.
Yeah, see? These are your basic instant thoughts, fundamental states or intentions. Training your brain to link these feelings directly to simple English chunks is way more effective than, say, studying abstract grammar rules about expressing hunger.
Definitely. Okay, now let's try a quick daily routine description drill. We use the simple present tense all the time for these repetitive actions. Practice describing these everyday things right after us. Keep it simple.
I wake up early. Pause twos.
I brush my teeth. Pause twos.
I drink coffee. Pause twos.
Keep it short, keep it clear, keep it easy. You're doing great just by keeping that internal practice simple and doing it consistently.
Remember, the absolute goal is automatic thinking. Linking the idea straight to the sound. No detours through translation.
So yeah, we really encourage you. Talk to yourself. Describe what's around you, what you're doing every day. Use these simple structures. That consistency is the fastest way to shift your brain into English mode for good.
All right, moving on to section 3. The fast thinking challenge. This sounds interesting. Training reflexes.
Yes, this drill is specifically set up to train your linguistic reflexes. It forces immediate instinctual speech.
How does it do that?
Well, it introduces a key element, pressure, time pressure. When you have to respond quickly, that conscious translating part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, kind of gets bypassed.
Ah, okay, so it forces the brain to just grab the answer directly from that procedural memory.
Exactly the connection we're trying to strengthen.
So how does it work? What's the mechanism?
Okay, I'll say one single word that's the cue, and you, listening, have to immediately respond with the shortest, most natural phrase that fits.
It forces quick output.
And physically cuts down the time available for you to even start translating.
Okay, give us an example.
For instance, if I say the keyword morning.
You should instantly say, good morning. Pause twos.
Right, we want that phrase to pop out like a reflex, like a knee-jerk reaction, like catching a ball. You don't think about it, you just do it.
Okay, but what if someone freezes? That hesitation.
That hesitation is the translation trap trying to kick in. If you freeze, it means you let your brain start trying to form the sentence in your native language first, even for a split second.
So the trick is?
Accept the very first English phrase that comes into your head, even if it feels a little imperfect. Speed is the absolute priority here. Just get something out.
Got it. Speed over perfection for this drill. Ready, everyone? Let's run through it. Focus only on speed. Immediate reaction.
Cue number 1.
Coffee. Response. I need coffee. Pause twos.
Cue number 2. Rain.
Quick answer. It's raining outside. Pause twos.
Cue number 3. Sleep.
Say it fast. I'm so sleepy. Pause two. Cue number 4. Friend. Call him out. Call my friend. Pause twos.
Okay, last one. Cue number 5. Keys.
Response. Where are my keys? Pause twos.
Fantastic work. How did that feel? Did you feel that instant reaction, or did you maybe sense just a tiny bit of lag?
If you manage that immediate response, that's brilliant. It means your brain is pulling the information straight from English.
You're actively building those English reflexes, turning knowledge into a skill, just like a musician practices scales until their fingers just move.
And if you did hesitate,
Totally normal, don't worry. This challenge just highlights exactly where that translation habit is slowing you down.
so the goal is to keep practicing until that lag disappears, until the response is instant.
That's what we mean by fluency in action. You should try practicing this drill with new, common nouns and verbs every day.
The more connections you build between a simple cue and an automatic English response, the faster and more automatic your core conversation skills will become.
Okay, now for section 4. Let's share maybe some deeper personal experiences with this whole translation trap thing. Not just what we did, but maybe the feeling, the cost of relying on translation.
Yeah, I can definitely share my own long and honestly pretty frustrating experience when I was first learning Spanish. I relied way too heavily on translation.
Oh, I know that struggle. It's such a common trap because it feels safer at first, doesn't it? Like the path of least resistance.
Absolutely. When I started Spanish, I was so obsessed with getting the grammar perfect. So I did exactly what we described earlier. Construct the whole complex sentence perfectly in English in my head,
Hmm.
translate it word by painful word into Spanish, double-check the endings, and only then would I try to say it.
And the result of all that intense mental effort.
It was just cripplingly slow. I vividly remember being in group conversations, and the topic would literally change 3 times while I was still mentally assembling my first perfectly grammatical sentence.
Oh, wow. So you weren't really participating with them.
Not at all. I was just listening, processing, trying desperately to catch up. I'd be mentally exhausted after maybe 10 minutes of trying to keep that translation engine running at full speed. I spent years stuck in that trap, basically choosing grammatical accuracy over actual communication speed.
That just illustrates perfectly why trying to use that declarative, rule-based memory for real-time speech just doesn't work well. The cognitive load is immense. Burnout, hesitation.
Yeah. Did you hit a similar wall?
Oh, definitely. When I was learning French,
Yes.
especially with idioms, phrases that just don't translate word for word, I hit a point where I realized, okay, I have to somehow surgically remove that translation step, or I'm just never going to sound natural or speak quickly.
So when you hit that wall, what did you do? What specific technique did you use to force your brain to stop translating?
Mine was maybe a bit basic, but intensely repetitive. It focused entirely on the immediate environment, just getting away from complex thoughts altogether. I called it environmental labeling. I just constantly forced myself to use French in my internal monologue by naming everything I could see around me. Really simple, direct phrases, almost like a child learning.
Like what?
Like, je vois une chaise. I see a chair. Le ciel est bleu. The sky is blue. La voiture est rouge et rapide. The car is red and fast. Just constant, simple labels.
That's brilliant. It forces the brain to connect the visual thing, the concept, directly to the French sound pattern.
Yeah.
No detour through English needed.
Exactly. You're training a new default setting for just perceiving the world.
You weren't trying to write essays in your head.
Not at all. Just training the brain's retrieval system through brute force association. Making the connection between the object and the French word instant. The French word becomes the primary label, not a translation of an English label.
I use something similar, but focus more on the sound. It's called shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing is fantastic.
I'd find short audio clips or videos, maybe 30 to 60 seconds long, good quality audio, and I'd just repeat them word for word, trying purely to match the speaker's sound, their rhythm, their timing, their speed.
How often?
I tried to do it maybe 10 times every morning with the same short clip, really focusing on the feel of speaking like that.
Shadowing is so effective because it hits all 3 habits we talked about, right? It's repetition, it forces you to copy the sound, and it makes you speak at native speed even if you don't consciously process every single word's meaning.
Yeah, it's like pure procedural training for your mouth and throat muscles almost.
Definitely. And I think it's really important we reinforce this. If you're listening now and you feel slow or awkward when you try these things, that is completely normal, especially at the start.
Absolutely. Your brain is literally building new wiring.
Yeah.
That takes time, and it takes consistent, frequent practice.
But these small daily habits, even just 10 minutes of simple internal descriptions like you did, or shadowing like you did, they will make English feel natural much faster than spending hours trying to memorize grammar rules by themselves.
You're trading that effortful studying for automatic skill building.
So keep practicing those small daily habits consistently. That's the active difference between just knowing English and actually using English fluently.
Okay, let's move into section 5. We're going to combine that idea of quick retrieval and copying the sound in a realistic common situation.
Right. We've got a short, everyday conversational exchange here. Making plans something you do all the time. We'll run it at natural speed first.
And we want you to practice that fast-thinking reflex. Try to respond or shadow along quickly. Focus on how the phrases are chunked together.
Yeah, notice how native speakers often shorten and blend words in these common requests. Ready for the role-play response drill? Here's the sequence. Try to jump in during the pause.
Hey, want to grab coffee?
Pause twos.
Sure, let's go. Pause twos.
Cool, I'll drive. Pause twos.
Sounds good.
Pause twos.
Okay, how did that feel? Did you notice any internal delay? That little moment where the translation engine might have tried to start up?
Now let's slow that right down. We'll use the pure shadowing technique. Focus on repeating exactly what you hear, line by line. Pay attention to the tone, the rhythm.
Listen carefully to the contraction and the flow. Hey, want to grab coffee? Pause twos. Now you repeat. Hey, want to grab coffee? Pause twos.
Listen, sure, let's go. Pause twos. Now you repeat. Sure, let's go. Pause twos.
Listen to how I will gets reduced. Cool, I'll drive. Pause twos. Now you repeat. Cool, I'll drive.
Pause twos.
Listen, sounds good. Pause twos. Now you repeat. Sounds good.
Pause twos.
So by slowing it down like that, you're essentially programming the correct natural pronunciation and the timing directly into that procedural memory.
Solidifying the sound-to-meaning connection.
Okay, we're going to run through the dialogue one last time now, back at natural speed. This is testing your muscle memory, so to speak. Try to say them all together quickly, matching our pace and rhythm.
Ready?
Hey, want to grab coffee?
Pause twos.
Sure, let's go. Pause twos.
Cool, I'll drive. Pause twos.
Sounds good.
Pause twos.
When you can respond quickly like that and naturally repeat the flow of these common phrases, you know your brain is successfully grabbing the information in English.
You've managed to bypass the translation trap. That's the power of combining this kind of conversational practice with shadowing. You're building hearing skills and speaking skills at the same time.
All right, we're on to the final phase of training for today. Section 6, our mini quiz on natural sentence structure.
Now, the point of this quiz isn't really to test your grammar knowledge in a formal way. It's more about testing your instinct. Does your brain naturally go for the typical English usage, or does it lean towards a more literal translation?
Because we know lots of languages translate concepts very literally, word for word, but English often has its own efficient, sort of idiomatic way of saying common things.
So we want to test if your automatic retrieval system is defaulting to the correct English pattern yet.
Okay, question 1. This focuses on a routine action. Based on how native speakers usually talk, which sentence sounds most natural? Which is the common pattern?
Option A, I go to school every day.
Or B, I'm going to school every day.
The most efficient natural choice there is A, I go to school every day.
Okay, let's break down why. Why is A better for a routine?
Well, think about the cognitive aspect. Option B uses the continuous form, I'm going. That kind of implies something happening right now or maybe a temporary plan.
Right, it carries a bit more mental baggage.
Exactly. Option A, the simple present tense, is the most streamlined, the least mentally taxing form we use for a permanent, daily, repeated habit. Your brain should automatically pick A for routines because it uses fewer auxiliary verbs. It's simpler.
Got it. Okay, question 2. This one focuses on a feeling, a state of being. Which pattern is the correct instant choice for native speakers?
Option A, I'm hungry.
Or B, I have hungry.
The correct automatic retrieval is definitely A, I'm hungry.
Now, this is a classic translation trap, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So many major languages, Spanish, French, others too, use their verb for to have to express these physical feelings. Tengo hambre, I have hunger.
But English doesn't work that way.
Nope. English, being a Germanic language, uses the verb to be for these states. I am hungry, I am sleepy, I am thirsty, I am cold.
So the goal of all this repetition is to train your brain to instantly grab that I'm pattern for feelings and states and actively block the I have translation habit.
Precisely. Okay, last one. Question 3. Focusing on intention or desire, which is the simplest, most efficient way to say it.
Option A, I want to go.
Or B, I want to go.
The correct and simplest structure is A, I want to go.
Option B is just grammatically incorrect in English. It tries to stick the to-be verb am where it doesn't belong with the main verb want.
When you're expressing a desire or intention, you just use the simple form of the verb want, followed by to plus the next verb, I want to go, I want to eat, I want to see.
Simple, natural English always goes for the minimal structure needed.
Yeah.
Option A is the default low-effort retrieval pattern for saying what you want.
So trust your ear for that simple, clean English. It's almost always the most efficient path.
Great job if your instincts led you to the right answers there.
Right. And hey, even if they didn't, the moment you understand why the correct answer is the most efficient one, that's a powerful learning moment. Repetition can lock that in now.
Okay, let's do a quick recap then. The 3 core cognitive lessons we've covered today, sort of a roadmap for your fluency training going forward.
Lesson 1. Repetition builds that procedural fluency. Focus on repeating whole phrases, those chunks of language, until they become automatic. That physically speeds up the signals in your brain.
Lesson 2. Short, simple sentences reduce the mental workload. Keep your internal chat small and easy. That helps avoid overloading the translation engine and freezing up.
And lesson 3. Shadowing and those quick response drills, they train your brain to react without translating. Builds speed, builds natural intonation, forces immediate retrieval.
All right, let's run through that essential repetition drill one last time. Really embed these high-value phrases deep into your procedural memory. Say them quickly with us.
I'm hungry. Pause twos.
Let's go. Pause twos.
See you soon. Pause twos.
Every single time you practice those, even for just a few seconds, you are actively training your brain, training it to switch into English mode instantly, effortlessly.
So our final actionable challenge for you today is all about consistency. Keep practicing daily,
Describe what you see, describe what you do, describe what you feel, all in English.
using those short, simple sentence structures we talked about.
That conscious practice, that's exactly how your fluency becomes natural, how it becomes fast, and eventually how it becomes effortless.
You're now equipped with the cognitive secrets, let's say, of native English thinking.
Train your brain, speak faster, and keep learning with us here on the Beacon English podcast.